Okay, I was already talking about August 12th with our solar eclipse in Leo, but I need to come back to this because look what everybody else is doing. First of all, we know that during the solar eclipse, we have the sun in Leo, and the sun is literally going dark, which might be the most Leo thing that could possibly happen because Leo is identity, it's visibility. It's the who am I? This is how I shine. And during a solar eclipse, we temporarily turn the lights off. So there's already this interesting theme of identity in the dark. Who are you when you can't see yourself clearly? Who are you when nobody is looking? So we have gone into depth about that, and that is already a pretty amazing transformation during an eclipse. But add to the conversation, we have Mercury and Jupiter also in Leo. Gosh, give Leo the space he needs. Okay. So we have already the stellium over here. So we're not quietly contemplating this identity crisis. We are giving it a fucking microphone, a megaphone. Mercury wants to talk about it. Jupiter wants to make it big. So we're not doing this subtly. And may I say, Mercury is currently hoeing around the entire chart. So we have this. I'm going to bless his heart temporarily. Let me just know they're all under there. I know the sun hates to be covered up, but he is during this moment anyway, so let him be. Mercury is sextiling Uranus. So we have Leo, which is a fire sign, and Uranus in an air sign. So the easiest way to remember our sextile from our past lessons, a trine is the same element. Now, a sextile is the complementary element. The easiest way for me to remember is fire and air are complements because they are of the ethereal soul. And then we have earth and water, which is all part of the body of the elemental system, if that makes sense. So we established Mercury is sextiling Uranus. So the conversations that are happening don't particularly care about maintaining a status quo because Uranus is all about disruption, unexpected realizations. So this can create new ideas, saying things differently because suddenly you're thinking about it differently. Then Mercury is trining Neptune in Aries, who refuses to stay. Okay, they're not playing nicely. So now we're pulling this intuition, imagination, subconscious material, all that stuff that doesn't necessarily come through organically in a logical way. And this is coming into conversation. But Mercury is not done. Pluto is opposing Mercury in Aquarius. So we're not staying on the surface either. What are we actually thinking? What's underneath what you're saying? What have you buried so deeply that you haven't even put language to it? So Mercury's basically looking at this eclipse about identity and said, great, we're discussing it. Uranus said, I don't care what needs to stay stable. Neptune said, oh, let's talk about what you can't quite explain. And Pluto's saying, oh, we're absolutely talking about the thing you buried. And then there's Venus. Venus is at home in Libra. So relationships, values, connection, how we relate to each other, all very Venus territory. But she's also trining Uranus because they're both air signs. So even our relationships are getting that Uranian influence of, I'm not going to soften this just because keeping things comfortable would be easier. What actually works now? What do I actually value now? And do the relationships around me still make sense for the person I'm realizing I am? And that's why I wanted to show the Planetary parade from my perspective, because there's a lot happening around this eclipse. This isn't, yes, we're looking at who am I when the lights go out. It's who am I? What am I actually thinking? What have I not been saying? What am I realizing? And what happens to my relationships when I finally say it? So happy eclipse season. Apparently we're having a conversation.